David, two things. One is Philip Heedle skating at this point, and two, you mentioned the other night that you didn't like Vuknevich's game, or parts of it at least. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, like some of our guys, and he got off. For him personally, I thought he was our best forward for about 7 or 8 games, and then there's been a dip in his game, and the consistency, what he was doing earlier in the year, where there was a consistent effort, a consistent edge to his game, has fallen a little bit. I think he's been a little bit frustrated from an offensive perspective, what can creep into people's other areas of their games, and we just need him getting back to where he was. And tonight will be see how it goes, and at some point in time we may reward people for playing better. And Heedle is not skating yet. No.
Next question comes from Vince Mercogliano with USA Today Network. Vince, go ahead.
Hey, David. Just to start, I wanted to confirm, is Panarin out, and do you have an update on Keandre?
Yeah, Panarin was really close today, but he's not going to go tonight. And Keandre is getting better. Similar situation. There was discussion maybe those guys might be able to go, but unfortunately they won't be able to.
Next question comes from Molly Walker with the New York Post. Molly, go ahead.
Hi, David. You liked a lot of things about the Lafreniere-Strome-Kakko line last Friday. Obviously, with Panarin still out, it looks like they'll remain intact. What kind of pointers have you given that line over practice the last couple of days to get them to convert on the slew of chances they've gotten? And do you think you like that line enough to keep it after Panarin comes back, or is the Strome-Panarin tandem, too established?
No, I don't think it's too established. I think we're open for anything right now, considering our offensive production. One of the things that I think they can do a little bit better job is staying off of the chances. I think sometimes we either feel sorry for ourselves that it didn't go in, and we certainly don't quit on the play, but there's not that urgency to finish the play. So one of the things I think, not just with that line, I think with our whole team, we've just got to continue to have an urgency after a scoring chance to finish it, because I think there's more opportunities there from that original chance. And that's at this level, that's usually where you create a lot of your offense. It's not off the original chance, it's what comes after it. And I think that's something that as a group, not only that line, but I think as a group, we need to do a better job of.
Next question comes from Mark Rosenman with Sports Talk New York. Mark, go ahead.
Morning, Coach. You touched on this the other day about the unique situation, having the 1 and 2, where other teams are always at the bottom, and those guys have immediate, lots of ice time. How does the fact that you have that top line and they're not getting the minutes where they might have gotten if you weren't an upper echelon team, how does that affect the development of the players, and how do you monitor that to try and get them some more ice time?
I mean, it's a balancing act, Mark, for sure. And, it's something, it's just a situation we're in. And I'm glad we're in it. I certainly, wouldn't want to be a team that went, 10 and 72 and got the number 1 or number 2 pick. We've been a team that's been, last year anyway, fighting for a playoff spot when the whole thing went down, and then we get the number 1 pick. So, I think there's a lot of good to being in the situation they're in. They're around good players. They can learn from these guys. Listen, I know it's all about ice time. I'm so sure their family members and their parents wish they were playing 20 minutes a night, and I certainly understand that. And their agents for sure. But, it's the situation we're in. And these guys know what we think of them as players, and we're spending all the time that we need to continue to make their development. It's not about being the best 18 and 19-year-olds. It's about being the best player, your 4th, 5th, 6th year in this league, where you can be an impact player night in and night out, and hopefully sooner. Hopefully, you see the progress Capo's made. Everybody sees it, right? He's understanding the full scope of the game, because these guys have always been focused on and measured by points. And this is the hardest league in the world to generate offense in. So there's other things that you have to do to be able to be an impactful player and impact winning and losing. And these guys are learning it. They're learning it a little bit sooner probably than people that are in different situations. So I give them both credit. They both handle it very well and understand the scope of what we're doing.
Next question comes from Colin Stevenson with Newsday. Colin, go ahead.
Dave, at the risk of beating a dead horse with talking about this one line, I'm curious about what Strome's responsibility is, and is it different playing with the 2 kids as opposed to playing with Artemi on the one side and 1 kid? Like, does he have to do more, let's say, or either on the ice or on the bench?
Well, I think maybe I think he's taking a little more charge of the situation. And I thought he did a good job the other night. I thought, he played well. I thought there was constant communication with these guys when they're coming on the bench. Stromer's a guy that's got a great personality, and he's talkative, and he's always involved. So I think that's good for these two young players to play with him. And then there's also, when you're playing with Brett, I think every player we put on that line, they feel the inclination always when they get a puck on their stick, where's Panarin? I want to give it to him, which is never a bad thought. But sometimes that can get in the way of making the right play. And I think maybe Stromer right now doesn't feel that, I don't want to call it pressure, but the instincts to kind of always defer to Brett. And I think right now he's got two guys that I think he, feels comfortable playing with in the short period of time they've played, and also taking on the responsibility of helping along the way.
Next question comes from Vince Mercogliano. Vince, go ahead.
Yeah, back to Buchnevich for a second. I was looking at PK stuff the other day. He's been your most used forward on the PK, which I don't think any of us saw coming in the offseason. But when you talk about him dropping off or trailing off a little bit lately, is that include the PK, or why have you liked him so much and used him so much in that role?
Well, it's not just him. Him and Mika have been a pretty good pair, and our PK's been good in general. Sometimes that he's been the most used. Maybe the shift lengths are a little longer. Maybe they're always out there against the top units. So it's not like maybe we use them more than other people. They do start most of it, but we're comfortable with all the guys that are killing right now. Our penalty kill has been very good, top to bottom, not just the top guys. All the guys doing it are doing a great job. And sometimes those if it's 2 seconds or 3 seconds more than other players during the course of a game, that sometimes can be a reflection of the shift length. Maybe you get hemmed in there a little bit or whatnot, and you're right against everybody's top unit. So, that can certainly lead something. But listen, he's done a really good job on the penalty kill.
Next question comes from Colin Stevenson. Colin, go ahead.
Dave, I know you're not alternating goalie starts anymore. Can you just tell us a little bit about, what you've seen from Igor and how he's sort of, progressed from where he started the season to where he is now? You obviously have a lot of confidence.
Yeah, there's just a swagger to him, a calmness to him. The guy that we all watched last year looks like he's back to that form, and he's doing a really good job. He's playing well.